I'm sorry, wait, who are you?
Captain America.
I thought Captain America was on the moon.
Welcome back, everyone. On your left, Marvel is making Captain America 4. You probably saw the announcement the past couple of days, so we'll break everything down. It's going to be all about Falcon's new version of Captain America. So obviously it's going to be a little bit different from the comics. I'll explain what's going on and what they've said about it so far. If you're brand new to the channel, be sure to subscribe to get all the videos. We have Marvel Loki episodes coming up real soon. I'll be doing videos for all the Marvel Disney Plus stuff this year. And just careful for spoilers for everything that's happened during Falcon and Winter Soldier if you have not seen those episodes yet or you haven't seen the finale yet. But the big news you probably just heard is that Malcolm Spellman, the showrunner from Falcon and Winter Soldier, is being hired by Marvel, or was hired by Marvel, to write the Captain America 4 script. So they haven't announced what the official title is. You can post all your predictions in the comments below. I'll talk about all my predictions for the movie just based on what they've said so far and the stuff that they teased during the Falcon and Winter Soldier finale, because Kevin Feige, the producers, were saying they were using Falcon and Winter Soldier to set up some very specific movie stuff that was happening. Now we know that they were talking about Captain America 4. So when you wonder what they're setting up with big plot twists like Sharon Carter Power Broker and the other stuff that's happening with, say, like the Thunderbolts, US Agent, and Val, Julia Louis-Dreyfus's character, all Captain America 4 stuff, in addition to a couple other projects as well, probably. But just in terms of the actual title, or what they might call Captain America 4, you'd have to think they're escalating things even bigger than Captain America Civil War, so just keep that in mind when you're thinking of theories. But they did have that very specific title card at the end of Falcon and Winter Soldier. It was sort of like their mid-credit scene where they have the brand new Captain America and the Winter Soldier. I know a lot of people are like, why are they still calling Bucky the Winter Soldier if they're calling Falcon Captain America now? Because his whole arc during the series was crossing all the names out of that list. Captain America's book that he was using to also atone for all of his misdeeds and killings that he performed as the Winter Soldier. A lot of people were sending me fan art of titles that just said Captain America and the White Wolf, which does sound kind of cool, but I think the whole idea with his White Wolf identity is that it's just a Wakanda thing, just the Black Panther characters. It's like his special name in Wakanda, so only those characters will probably call him that, unless Sam just wants to tease him a little bit more in the future when they're doing their whole buddy cop thing. I do think they're going to finally pay off Sam Captain America, finally referring to him as Buck, because remember earlier in the episodes, he was saying only Steve gets to call me that because he knew me longer. But I think everyone kind of likes the idea of them joking on each other just a little bit, so I think they'll continue to do that, even though they do feel genuinely closer to each other. But I think one of the safer predictions to make is that most of the main characters who survived the Falcon and Winter Soldier finale will come back in some form in Captain America 4. Speaking of characters coming back, I know a lot of people were wondering whether or not we'd see an old man Captain America Steve Rogers cameo scene during Falcon and Winter Soldier. Well, the series blew through the plot so quickly that it does make sense why he did not show up, but they kept referencing him in that moon base all the time. Even at the beginning of the episode, there was that agent that asked Sam, "Who are you?" And he says, "I'm Captain America," before going about his business. And then as he walks away, he says, "I thought that Captain America was on the moon." A lot of people have been wondering if that's actually meant to be an Easter egg for the Avengers video game. I think it's actually closer to being a reference to the Nick Fury base that he had on the moon in the comics. Also in the MCU, he has the space station with the Skrulls, which is the next best thing to a moon base. It doesn't seem like a moon base because we haven't really seen the exterior of it. It just seems like a space station. All the big news trades were reporting earlier this year that Chris Evans was preparing to sign a deal that would have him come back as Captain America, or come back as Steve Rogers. A lot of people wondered what that meant. Maybe it could mean him coming back for a cameo as Old Man Steve Rogers. Well, the really interesting clue about what happened to him after the end of Avengers Endgame is that if you look at the Captain America exhibit as they're walking through, there's a big section that just details the plot of Avengers Endgame. If you read that through, it actually says that Captain America retired after that adventure. So I think they're trying to imply that he secretly retired to Nick Fury's space station. There was a whole big thing with Chris Evans trying to deny it. Personally, I do not believe Marvel actors when they say that they're doing or not doing things, just because there is a long history of Marvel actors denying that they're in projects when clearly they are. But if they were ever going to bring him back for a cameo scene, Captain America 4 would be the place to do it. But the people who were posting about this Chris Evans project, him coming back for new Marvel projects, said that it was not Captain America 4, it was for other projects. So it's just open to theory crafting what that could possibly be. Also, if we're talking about Old Man Captain America cameo scenes, at the end of Falcon and Winter Soldier, there was a very big Isaiah Bradley scene paying off his storyline, honoring him in the Captain America exhibit at the Smithsonian. So I'm really hoping that they also bring back Isaiah Bradley during Captain America 4 and maybe even give us a flashback scene, even if it's a short flashback scene of when he was fighting Winter Soldier in the Korean War. Just some kind of flashback scene to him being super badass. Next big thing is all the Thunderbolt stuff and Dark Avengers that they're slowly setting up through the Val character and obviously Thunderbolt Ross in the background through Falcon and Winter Soldier. So obviously we didn't get a really big Thunderbolt Ross cameo scene. Not a huge surprise because there weren't a ton of big movie actors. There were some, but they used the Val character as sort of their dark version of Nick Fury, slowly putting together what sounds like the Thunderbolts in the background through US Agent. Like she said in that post-credit scene, a lot of weird stuff is going to be happening. That's just sort of a general blanket statement about the craziness that's going to be happening during Marvel Phase 4 in the movies and the Disney Plus series. When she says they won't be needing people like Captain America, it means they're going to be doing Black Ops really shady stuff, and that is standard fare for Thunderbolt's characters. They also sort of tie this scene to the Baron Zemo scene of him on the raft, and she was kind of joking like they were friends. Our friend Zemo got the last laugh. Baron Zemo was the original person to put the Thunderbolts together in the comics, so it makes sense that he would be associated with potential future Thunderbolts plot. Normally I would have said that they would have handled Thunderbolt stuff more legitimately during Falcon and Winter Soldier Season 2, but now because we have Captain America 4 coming up before that, it seems much more likely we'd see that stuff start to form in the background of what's happening during Captain America 4. So even if they don't legit introduce the Thunderbolts or the Dark Avengers, say, which I'll talk about in a second, during Captain America 4, maybe some Easter eggs or a post-credit scene for them. But it does sound like the Val, the Madam Hydra character, Julie Louis-Dreyfus, does have a big future in Marvel Phase 4. Hopefully she sticks around for a long time. I felt like she worked fantastic with the small scenes that they gave her during Falcon and Winter Soldier. You just have to picture her talking circles around all the other big Avengers level characters. Clearly they want you to feel like she wields incredible power when they call her a dark version of Nick Fury. But for those of you asking about Hydra, I don't think that she's associated with any kind of new version of Hydra or anything like that. The whole thing with the Falcon version of Captain America, when Sam became Captain America in the comics, it was the all new, all different period. They kind of did a greatest hits rerun of all the original Steve Rogers Captain America stories from when he first debuted in the comics. So he faced modern incarnations of a lot of the original Captain America villains. Like they started off with the Hydra story arc. There's an issue with him punching Red Skull the same way that Steve Rogers was punching Hitler on the cover of Captain America #1. So that's what I mean when they said they were doing a rerun of original Steve Rogers' greatest hits. There were a lot of you that were trying to make Serpent Society predictions for Captain America 4. They even did a Falcon Captain America version of that story arc in his comics. But then they took things in a really twisty direction. They did the whole Hydra Cap twist, and I don't think they're going to do anything like that in the MCU. Like, they're not going to bring Chris Evans back to do a version of Hydra Cap. That was an incredibly unpopular character. What they did do, though, was they introduced the Torres character as the next version of the Falcon, so he took the mantle from Falcon when Falcon became the next Captain America. And the actor who plays Torres on Falcon and Winter Soldier the series said that he was totally ready to become the next Falcon, but they haven't told him anything about actually doing that. But that's kind of what they're laying the seeds for when he gave him his wings, like, just keep them. Do whatever you want, repair him. During that ending scene where he was watching his speech on his laptop, you can kind of see him with his tool bench there with all the tools laid out, getting ready to fix the wings. Then there's all the US Agent John Walker stuff. I do think that they'll bring him back at some point during Captain America 4. I don't know how big of a character he's going to be. In Wyatt Russell, the actor who plays the character, he's actually Kurt Russell's son in real life, Ego the Living Planet in the MCU. So it's a nice Marvel reference, even though there's no real connection between US Agent and Ego the Living Planet. But they turned him into the full-blown US Agent character from the comics with the black, accurate costume. I'm sure eventually, when he shows up again, they'll give him the US Agent version of the Captain America shield. It just has US in the center instead of the Captain America star, and it's painted to look the similar color scheme as his costume. But he's more of an anti-hero, and he is on the government payroll per what Val is saying here. Like, that was the whole idea with him redeeming himself during the finale. So he's a little more balanced now, mentally, a little more emotionally stable. But he's a character who will be doing really shady black ops for Val, who would also work really well inside a Thunderbolt scenario too, so he could also show up during a future Thunderbolt series as well. The other big thing you have to consider is because Captain America 4 is the fourth movie in the franchise, they're also doing Thor 4, so it's not the first time that they've done a fourth movie in a single character's solo film. But the way they've been talking about Thor 4 makes you think about the way they're trying to set up Captain America 4, because the whole idea with Thor 4 Love and Thunder is that it's supposed to be even bigger and escalate things even more than what was happening during Thor Ragnarok. The way they talk about Thor 4, all the actors say that it's kind of like Avengers 4.5, sort of like a Captain America Civil War situation, where a lot of what happens sort of shakes the foundation of the MCU on a fundamental level. So they'll have to do something similar during Captain America 4 to escalate that over how big Captain America Civil War was. Well, how do you do that? There's only a couple big storylines that would fit with what they're doing right now and what they've set up during Falcon and Winter Soldier, and a lot of that gets into the whole idea of the Dark Avengers, Thunderbolt Ross, Red Hulk, and the Thunderbolts. Still a bit of a blank canvas in terms of villains. They'll probably start introducing some new villains from the comics instead of going back to old ones, but I think the whole idea is eventually the next form of Civil War that you'll see will be Thunderbolt Ross himself becoming Red Hulk and him becoming something of an antagonist in the MCU, but taking it in more of a US agent type of direction. So really good example during the Falcon and Winter Soldier series, the way they pitched the US agent character at the beginning, John Walker, before he became US agent, is that he's this new version of Captain America, is very optimistic, but kind of turns into an antagonist, even though technically he's not a villain. I think it's more likely that that's the way they would play their big Red Hulk Thunderbolt Ross twist in the future of the MCU. The whole thing with the Sharon Carter power broker twist, I know a lot of people want to believe that she might be a Skrull. It's totally possible, but I just think that they want to pitch her as a darker version of the character now, who sort of plays with both the heroes and the villains on both sides. It just makes her a much more complex character. Really good example is we have the Iron Man Armor Wars series on Disney Plus that's happening next year. War Machine will be the main character during that. We saw him cameo at the beginning of Falcon and Winter Soldier. Because Sharon Carter trades in a lot of black market tech and stolen goods, she could also be part of the path to other villains in the MCU getting their hands on Iron Man's technology, which is basically what Armor Wars is. You remember Iron Man 2 where you have Justin Hammer trying to basically do knockoff clones of Iron Man's armor, and it just winds up going haywire. Imagine the worst possible version of that happening in the MCU. They also kind of imply that the Val character has her hands in a lot of really shady stuff, so it would make sense that she would eventually have a connection with Sharon Carter. If she needs to supply any potential US agent or Thunderbolts missions, Sharon Carter would be the place to get those weapons from. What would be the next major conflict that's happening through Marvel Phase 4, Marvel Phase 5 to divide the characters in a really fundamental way? Well, you have things like mutant rights, because they're slowly introducing the X-Men characters from the Fox movies. The whole idea is that by the time we get to 2022, 2023, we'll slowly start seeing more of the X-Men characters start popping up, more mutant characters. They kind of tease that during WandaVision a little bit with her children, because in order to be considered a mutant, you have to be born with your powers. That's basically the qualifier. Bringing it back around to the whole Weapons Plus Super Soldier storyline during Falcon and Winter Soldier, I'm hoping that they also bring Weapons Plus back around when Thunderbolt Ross comes back for a potential cameo in Captain America 4 to sort of set up Weapon X down the road. It's all about the idea that each iteration of the Weapons Plus program tries different methods to create super soldiers, so when they got to Wolverine, Weapon 10, they were experimenting on mutants and they were using the adamantium. I would completely lose it, though, if he does show up in a cameo scene during Captain America 4, the way that Spider-Man just surprise showed up during Captain America Civil War, like, yeah, we got Spider-Man in the MCU now. But aside from any X-Men characters showing up in a big way, I think the biggest thing they've teased so far in the background that they could legitimately use to escalate over Captain America Civil War would be the concept of the Dark Avengers. But everyone, post all your predictions for Captain America 4 in the comments below. Remember, it's going to be about 2-3 years before we see that movie, so I will do more videos about it when we get more information. While you wait for everything, everyone click here for my Falcon and Winter Soldier finale post-credit scene video, and click here for my full Falcon and Winter Soldier Episode 6 video. Thank you so much for watching, everyone stay safe, and I'll see you guys tonight.